Thank you both for taking time to interview with me and for my class. So we'll just start off by you guys introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background in ABA.
My name is Samantha. I am a BCBA, and I've been working at a center for about 3 years now, going on to my 4th year. And I've been in the field since 2013, so I was like a behavior technician, and then I got interested, and then I went to grad school, did 3 years of grad school, and then started working at the center.
Very cool.
I'm Lindsay. My story is pretty much the same. So I've been a BCBA for 3 years. Been working with this company for about 6, and then I've been in the field since about the same, like 2012, 2013. Just first as a volunteer, and then as an intern.
Very cool. And they're both my supervisors, and they're awesome at what they do. So I'm really excited. So we'll just get started. The first question relates to 9.0, and it says, behavior analysts design, conduct, and report research in accordance with recognized standards of scientific competence and ethical research. Why might this be important to BCBAs in your opinion?
Definitely important, right? I think that this particular code kind of hits that we should always be ethical in anything we do, whether it's research or clinician stuff. And that means focusing on the welfare of our clients and protecting their rights and their dignity and all that. And I think we've already got systems in place to kind of address this issue. So for any research stuff that you need to get approval from an institutional review board, IRBs, right? To make sure that you're doing ethical stuff. And then we also, as you know, have our BACB ethics code to make sure even more that everybody's doing everything the right way. I think we also have to think about our core ethical principle of doing no harm. So that's really where all this comes out from. Some things that I would consider is that we want to make sure that we're using procedures that are effective and accurate and consistent for many reasons, but one reason would be to replicate studies, to make sure that we've got good findings and there's confidence in our findings, and that the procedures that we're using are accepted by society. So that kind of touches on the social validity portion of research, because we should be doing things, and the community should also think that we're doing things that are considered important and valuable for all of us.
Awesome. The next one relates to subcode 9.01 that says, behavior analysts plan and conduct research in a manner consistent with all applicable laws and regulations, as well as professional standards governing the conduct of research. Behavior analysts also comply with other applicable laws and regulations relating to mandated reporting requirements. Can you give us an example where you have run into this kind of scenario? Either someone did something unethical and what did you do, or examples of how new researchers can avoid mistakes.
So basically for that one, I haven't, run into that kind of issue where we're doing something unethical or that kind of scenario, but I could see how when you're doing research, people may be leaded to falsifying data just because they want to get things published. So I could see how that can become unethical, but maybe in order to make sure that you avoid mistakes in becoming unethical, having procedures in place where you are not, becoming unethical in any ways. Like, for example, the one that came to mind is whenever you're doing that inter-observer agreement, the IOA data, some people don't even really think about how you're conducting it, and so you might be doing it in the same room. You might be watching the other person doing it so you can see when they take the data and then you take the data. So that's kind of going into falsifying data as well, because it's not really accurate, just your data. It's also you're relying on somebody else's data. So maybe avoiding those mistakes by having procedures in place where whenever you do IOA, you're maybe in a separate room or in a separate area where you can't see the other person